Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today, because we are breaking down a massive, literally unprecedented crossover event. The sheer scope of what we're looking at is genuinely staggering. Honestly, just imagine the group chat for this. It must be a logistical nightmare. It seamlessly blends mainstream entertainment, generation-defining personalities, and real national initiatives all into one massive list. We are diving straight into the grand reveal of the Princess Heartline third batch.
168. Seriously, let that sink in. That is the exact number of global and national members included in this staggering batch. It's not just a handful of influencers, right? It's a sprawling, carefully categorized assembly of individuals. To truly understand the impact of this grand reveal, we have to look closely at who exactly makes up this massive number and how they're actually organized.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What exactly is this list? Well, the Princess Heartline third batch is a massive Gen Z roster, officially unveiled for the 20th Congress of the Philippines, and it's formally backed by Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano and House Speaker Buji Dai. So what we're looking at here is a highly organized, officially sanctioned initiative. It's targeting the Gen Z demographic on a scale we just rarely see, and it's brilliantly bridging super prominent public figures with actual congressional initiatives. It's wild.
Now, with a roster of 168 people, it can definitely feel a bit overwhelming. But don't worry, we're going to break it all down systematically. We'll start with the overarching grand reveal for the 20th Congress, then we'll look at the featured and main names. From there, we'll see how the list expands through the official and extended rosters, touch on the legacy and final members, and then finally wrap up with the uniquely curated favorites roster.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the 20th Congress Grand Reveal, focusing on its global and national scale.
What's really interesting here is the heavy emphasis on scope. This isn't just some local outreach program. The source document makes it incredibly clear that this sweeping Gen Z initiative deliberately captures both the global and national spheres. And you might be wondering, well, why does this matter? Pulling together 168 individuals to represent the Gen Z voice shows a massive, unified effort. They're actively leveraging highly visible personalities to shape and communicate national initiatives. It's all about reaching the youth exactly where they are, using the faces and voices they're already following.
Moving right along to Section 2, the featured and main names. Think of these folks as the true anchors of the entire initiative.
When we look at the featured roster, the caliber of names kicking off this list is just undeniable. I mean, we're talking about massive industry heavyweights anchoring the whole thing. Megastars like Catherine Bernardo and Liza Soberano, alongside dynamic, totally viral personalities like Ivana Alawi. Placing these established, high-profile figures right at the top in the featured category, that instantly brings a tremendous amount of gravity to this 20th Congress reveal.
But the foundation definitely doesn't stop there. The main names roster continues to build out this Gen Z powerhouse led by absolute forces like Andrea Bridgelantes and AC Bonifacio. And the energy stays incredibly high as the roster expands to include trendsetters like Serial Minibat and Finglang Smith. This section really represents the core heartbeat of the Gen Z demographic. These are trendsetters with massive, highly engaged audiences, which totally solidifies the initiative's direct line to the youth.
All right, let's transition into Section 3, the official and extended rosters. This is where we really see the scope of this grand reveal expand significantly. This comparison brilliantly illustrates just how deep this roster truly goes. The official side leans hard on vital domestic names like Atasha Mulak and Kaori Oinama. But then, the extended roster casts the net even wider, bringing in international talents like Nancy Jewel McDonough. Basically, reaching that 168-member mark required them to look way beyond just one specific sector of entertainment. They were building a truly comprehensive coalition. So we've covered the featured, main, official, and extended members. But wait, who exactly makes up the next tiers? Like who is in the highly specific legacy and final rosters? Let's take a look.
That brings us right to Section 4, Legacy and Final Members. Let's explore who makes up this next wave.
Now, the legacy roster is a genuinely fascinating category. It includes incredibly recognizable names who quite literally grew up in the public eye, like Jillian Ward and Francine Diaz, right alongside newer cultural staples like Mika Lim. The term legacy here really implies a lasting impact or a foundational tie to the Gen Z cultural zeitgeist. Every single one of these names adds another layer of influence, and it perfectly helps us understand just how vast and well thought out this 168-person list truly is.
Next up, we unpacked the final roster group. Keeping the momentum going, this list pulls in a really diverse set of talents, from Zaya Vigor to Miles Ocampo. This specific section essentially ensures that absolutely no corner of the Gen Z cultural landscape is left untapped. It structurally completes the puzzle right before we hit our very last category.
Which leads us perfectly into our fifth and final section, the favorites roster, the grand finale of the Princess Heartline third batch.
The favorites. This is a uniquely varied selection rounding out the total 168 members. Honestly, this category feels totally distinct. It really serves as a punctuation mark to the entire document. It brings together a diverse array of personalities that perhaps don't fit neatly into those previous structural boxes, but they are absolutely essential to the complete vision of this grand reveal.
So the crucial point is really revealed in this final grouping. The favorites roster bridges entirely different worlds. We've got traditional media standouts like Gabi Garcia and Cassie Legaspi sitting right alongside huge digital heavyweights like Zainab Harake. By wrapping up this massive categorization effort with these specific names, the organizers are making sure the third batch covers every possible angle of youth culture, literally from traditional media stars to digital-first creators.
Wow, we've just walked through an incredibly detailed, systematically organized list of 168 powerful voices. The Princess Heartline third batch is frankly a masterclass in demographic assembly, but it leaves us with one massive, lingering thought. How exactly will this unprecedented 168-member Gen Z roster shape the initiatives of the 20th Congress? When you have this much concentrated influence, officially backed at a national and global level, the potential for impact is pretty much limitless. I highly encourage you to keep an eye on these names and see what happens next. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.